Coming up on Open for Business, Charlie visits Bashor Children's Home to see how they've been helping kids for 100 years. We join Goodwill's Group Violence Intervention Peace Walk in South Bend, providing a support path for people in violent situations. And Lisa gets an update of what is happening over at First Tee of Indiana-Michiana. Stay with us as we're now open for business.
This is Charlie again for Open for Business here in Elkhart County. Behind me, not a lot has changed over 100 years, but here at Bashor Children's Home, so many young people's lives from troubled and neglected backgrounds have been impacted in great ways. And we're going to talk to leaders here about what they've been able to do and what's ahead here at Bashor Children's Home. I'm here now with Sean McCrindle, President and CEO of Bashor Children's Home. And Sean, this is a very special year, celebrating 100 years. Tell us about that.
Over the years, we've had so many services that have changed, but really our core heart has stayed the same. And way back, before 1923, John and Emmeline Bashor had a farm, and there were a lot of kids who had families who couldn't take care of them. It was the Great Depression during that time, and they realized that they had a responsibility to try to help kids. And so they decided they wanted to have their farm be able to become an orphanage someday.
Let people know that are aware of the name, but maybe don't know exactly what you do. What do you do for the young people?
One of the big things we've been focusing on lately is trying to help kids who are out in the community before they need residential care. What we're known for is our residential services where kids stay here 24 hours a day. It's very intensive care, and they get a lot of different services. We're trying to do things with the school systems and with our on-ground school and with some therapy services and some foster care services to try to help kids stay in their community and be successful there. On our residential side, we have a broad array of services. We serve kids in our emergency shelter care. It can be as young as 6 years old, all the way to 18, and sometimes a little bit older, up to 21, depending on the kid. And then we have services to help kids who are struggling with substance abuse issues, with complex trauma issues, and helps some kids really try to get through some of those difficult times. And one of our more recent residential programs are for girls who are survivors of human trafficking. And it's just a really hard situation to be able to help lead those girls through, but boy, it's one of the most rewarding when you see a girl really understand she can have control of her own life and freedom.
What are some of the reasons that what you do works? I'm sure it's the people, it's the system, it's embracing change.
Well, I definitely think some of what's been really impactful here is Bashor's done a good job of trying to pay attention to kids in our community. And especially in our emergency shelter care, as kids come in, we learn a lot from them about what's going on for kids out there. And times are hard. It seems like every year I say times are a little bit harder for kids, but things are very complex. So we really try to pay attention to the kids in the community. And when they say, hey, we have a need, we say we must be there to help. And so the one thing that, really never changes, even back in the orphanage days, is the what you do and how you do it. Those change all the time because you find better ways. But the why you do it never changes. Once you're a Bashor kid, right, we say you're always a Bashor kid. Yeah. We always want to be there to help you and cheer you on to success because we only have underdog stories here. So we have the greatest success stories when they win.
What are some present needs that the viewers can help?
Yeah, one of the big things that we have is we have people who volunteer who come out and help kids We have people who choose to explore being foster parents, and that's a really wonderful, challenging thing and rewarding thing. And there are lots of kids out there who need foster homes, who their home's not quite ready to go to, or they need a safe place as they're transitioning into adulthood. And so having volunteers, we also always need staff who have a heart for this mission. We have some amazing staff here right now who have a heart for the mission, but we always have more requests than we can fulfill without having more staff. And so we always want to be bringing in staff, especially people who have a heart for this, and hopefully they'll make a career out of this.
Let me ask you this, when you talk about serving the kids, is there a particular area? Is it more Elkhart County or this part of Michiana?
We actually end up serving kids throughout the state of Indiana in our residential care. We have purposely not served kids outside of Indiana. We've had asked to do that, but there is so much need here. And in our residential care, we serve a lot of kids from throughout the state. In our emergency shelter care and our community-based services, primarily it's Elkhart County, St. Joe County, and some of the surrounding counties that we serve. And we really try to prioritize, like for our shelter care, the local counties so those kids can be close to their homes.
Sean, I first had a chance to come here about 20 years ago and tour the grounds, the nature, and I was so impressed. And that's here, and yet there's growth. Yeah. Tell folks about the facilities.
In 1996, when I started here, the road beside us was a dirt road. Clearly not a dirt road anymore, and just like that road, Bashor has grown up tremendously. We're blessed to have 160 acres for our campus, so we have plenty of space. And it's allowed us over the last several years to build an entire community resource center, school, and lots of residential buildings. We also have, obviously, lots of things you would have for kids, lots of playground stuff, basketball things, gymnasiums, stuff like that. And one of the things that's really big for our kids is the pond that we have here. Every year, one kid seems to catch that huge bass, wow, and then every kid wants a fishing pole on our campus. It's the greatest thing.
What are some ways that folks can get in touch or follow up?
One of the easiest ways to get a hold of us is just to go to bashor.org, BASHOR.org, and you'll find out all kinds of information on how we've been doing the last 100 years and how the next 100 years is going to be amazing.
Thank you, Sean. So many people make up the family here. I want to hear about our next guest, Gary McCrae. Interesting backstory.
Yes, Gary McCrae came in one day, tried to volunteer at Bashor, had a very successful business life. And so rather than have him volunteer, we were so excited by him, we decided to try to bring him on staff. He agreed, changed his entire career, and because of that, many, many children, families, and staff are blessed. You're gonna love talking to this guy.
And later in our show, we are going to hear from Gary and how he is helping to make a difference here at Bashor Children's Home.
Stay active and energized with the Vitality Pack from MHC Life. Remove toxins from the body with a naturally occurring trace and electrolyte mineral supplement for better focus and energy. And get a balanced combination of vitamins and minerals along with organic flaxseed oil for an overall sense of well-being. To order, visit mhclife.com or call 1-800-965-2345.
Hi, this is Charlie in South Bend for Open for Business, where we are learning about the impact of Goodwill's GVI and SAVE programs in neighborhoods and beyond. We've been on their recent Peace Walk and talked to people about how it's making a difference. Here with Michael, and let's talk about GVI and what it is.
Well, simply put, GVI is a strategy. It stands for Group Violence Intervention. What the strategy says is that when you take law enforcement, when you take moral leaders, and when you take social services, combine them together and work together, that you can decrease gun violence in communities.
We'll talk more about it, but let's talk about SAVE right now and describe it.
Goodwill created SAVE, which is an acronym for Stand Against Violence Every Day. And what the SAVE team does is we go out and we engage the community. One thing, we respond to shootings that occur in the community, but we go there to kind of de-escalate, to help be a calming presence to families or individuals, neighborhoods that are affected by gun violence.
Let's talk about the Peace Walk and its history, it goes with it, everything about it.
When I started here, you would always hear about Huey Street in this negative context, until we got out to Huey Street in the neighborhood and we realized there are great people in this area who are fighting to make a real positive change in this community. So why not come here? Why not support them, put a spotlight on them, and then take time to give back to this very community that so many would look down upon?
Michael, how is GVI proactive when you talk about getting into places and doing things, offering things that educate?
Yeah, one of the biggest proactive aspects of GVI is through the power of Goodwill Industries. They've helped us to have a more preventive arm, even of the GVI SAVE strategy that we call straight up mentoring, which happens throughout schools in South Bend, Indiana. And that's to reach the young minds, those who might be at risk or right there on the cusp, of getting themselves into trouble. Remember, the same people who are most likely to be perpetrators of gun violence are also likely to be victims of gun violence. So getting in, reaching young hearts and minds, exposing them to new things, increasing their emotional intelligence. So we get to engage the youth and the community in a different way.
Hey, what a response we've had on this Peace Walk. That was fun to do. And now we want to get around and talk to people about this walk and everything that's going on.
We've been doing this probably for the last 8 years. Community members, way before I was on city council. My church is down the street, Christ Temple is down the street, and we decided to bring our community together every year to we would normally do like a prayer for our police department and for safety, but this year we decided to do something different, and that was to do a service piece and actually clean up one of the streets in South Bend that has had a lot of problems. They call Huey a hot street, so we're bringing hope to Huey today.
It actually brings a lot of joy to me to see our community coming together to assist to clean up the neighborhood. We know it's a lot of violence rising around the world, also in our community, and it just means a lot to me to see all of the people, whether they live in this community or not, coming here to actually help us clean.
With Goodwill, we're all about changing the community. I'm a resident of the South Bend community. We want to try to serve this community as much as possible. Goodwill is known for our stores and helping people, get jobs and education training. But this is something above and beyond, coming out and showing that we really do want to give back to the community. Being a servant to the community, cleaning up, and just making sure that everybody knows that violence isn't the way to do it. And we want to show that we do really care about this community and we want to give back.
We're praying, but our prayers have to have legs and have to have hands. And what we're doing today is we're putting legs and hands to those prayers. So we're here, Hope for Huey. I believe we've been praying for the violence to go down. We've been praying for our neighborhood to be cleaned up, but now we're actually going to go do that.
I do like to bring people together. I like helping people. And so to see many people doing the same thing is very inspirational, because that is a very big need in our community, to bring people together as well as to show them that God loves them.
What are you passionate about? Everything with GVI SAVE, when it gets you going, how does it stir you?
This community. Understanding that with individuals, you can come from a disadvantaged background, have all the odds stacked against you, and sometimes just having a person that takes the time to have one crucial conversation with you. to expose you to something, to take time to hear you out and see what it is you need and kind of point you in that right direction, that can shift the course and trajectory of your entire life. I know, because I've seen it firsthand. And I've seen the way that gun violence can negatively impact the family, not just the family of the victim, but also the family of the perpetrator, you know? So when you have those who come forward with a sense of compassion, you know, understanding, empathy, and cultural awareness and sensitivity, you can change lives.
Oh, I tell you, I am fired up about what Goodwill's GVI and SAVE programs are doing, and folks like this through events like this Peace Walk. And you can learn more at goodwill-ni.org.
With your help, Spread the Word has sent thousands of gospels around the globe so that people can know God and are receiving the motivation they need through the scripture in their hands. Together, we are building dreams, greatness, and a future. More people are waiting to get their very own gospel. Your gift of $5, $20, or $100 will help us spread the light. Help us spread the word.
I'm Lisa Varga with Open for Business, and we are back at Studebaker Golf Course with the first Tee Indiana-Michiana golf program. You guys are going to love what you're about to see. We're bringing you more great stories from the Enlighten Project.
I am Jenny Zimmerman. I'm site director here in Michiana for First Tee. We teach kids life lessons and life goals, life skills through the game of golf. We're based here at Studebaker Golf Course in South Bend, and we're right in the middle of summer programming. You know, we work hard to keep all of the kids cool, so we'll always have a cooler full of water and ice. The 4 to 6-year-olds today will be learning their full swing. On hot days, and especially when they're just learning their full swing, we sometimes let them hit water balloons instead of golf balls so that they see that impact and they swing through because they want to have that splash and they want to be surprised. Tonight is our very first match night for PGA Junior League. PGA Junior League is our team-based competition program. The kids get uniforms, they get to choose their number. We pair them up into groups of 2 or 3. They play a team-based competition called a scramble against 2 or 3 other kids. We play shorter courses, maximum scores, it's match play. It is all very beginner-based, so it's really great for those golfers who are really beginning to play. Kids are always fun. Whether they're grumpy or they're hungry or they're tired or they're happy, kids just always make the day better. And being able to turn somebody from grumpy to happy by handing them a popsicle or watching their eyes light up when a ball goes in the hole or goes up in the air is fantastic. First Tee is very concerned about kids thinking that they are a scoreboard instead of a process, and that we want to make sure that they know we think that they are who they are, not what they do. When the kids walk in the door, the first question I ask is, how did it go? Second question is, did you have fun? If they answer with a score, I tell them I didn't ask that. I don't care about that. They do, and in our society, scoreboard and keeping score is important, we get that, but we want them to first think about that they had a good time, that they made friends, that they did some things well. It's one of those things that I don't remember from my childhood. I don't remember getting that happy when a golf ball went in the hole. But that's one of the things that First Tee does. We celebrate often. We set up success for a lot of different things. Some of our games have bigger targets. Our games are very colorful. A lot of the lessons we teach are through fun games. success looks different for every single one of them. So we try to make sure that success looks like something other than just getting a ball into a little hole. As we grow and as we get more kids, we had 478 kids in the program last year. And we've got a slew of new kids this year. And so I don't know what our numbers will end up at the summer, but man, it's keeping us busy. So we can always use more adult volunteers who know the game. They don't have to be good at the game. We'll teach them that stuff. We will go through a ton of snacks. So anybody who has goldfish crackers at home or granola bars, we'll always take those, or popsicles. And any donation money that comes in, we buy those kind of things so that the kids have a safe, happy place to be. So being able to introduce the game, its values, and what it can do for people, to these kids, is really a dream come true. I have the best job in the whole world.
Golf on 3. 1, 2, 3, go!
Charlie again for Open for Business. We are in Elkhart County, Bashor Children's Home, celebrating 100 years. And I'm excited to talk to our next guest here, Gary McRae, Program Director of Therapeutic Foster Care. How are you?
I am well, Charlie. Thank you for having me.
Give us a little of your backstory, how you came to be on staff here, because it started out more volunteer.
Well, it's a very interesting story, Charlie. For many years, I was in the RV industry, as many people are around here. But as I began to get a little older, I started to think I needed to do more with my life. I needed to be able to give back. So I returned to school, and I wanted to do something in the social field. So I started studying psychology, therapies, and all like that, and I ended up to be a social worker.
Talk about therapeutic foster care here for the young folks of Bashor Children's Home. What is that exactly, and how is it different from traditional foster care?
Well, just as the word implies, therapeutic, it means that you're learning therapy techniques and ideas and concepts behind that, so you can help kids to deal with the many, many challenges that they have in their life. And so what we do with therapeutic foster parents is we train them in those fields, those areas, so that they might have the tools in which to use to work with kids that we might place in their home.
What are some examples of how this can be a breakthrough for someone working with a young person who comes from a challenging background?
Well, if a person has the tools to use to work with the children, then they lose a lot of their fear, they gain more confidence in working with those kids. And they, working with us and along with the kids, they learn how to best help those kids.
What are the biggest challenges in today's world with young people?
The biggest challenges is trauma, stress that comes from trauma. And we're gonna see an increase with that as time goes on, because things are becoming more complicated. Children of the day have a lot more to deal with than we did when we were in our age. The age of technology, everything is instantly at the touch of a finger, press a button, you have it. And that brings a lot of challenges along the way.
What does it mean to be a part of a tradition, 160 acres, facilities, staff, and young people that are transformed in a good way for the rest of their lives.
Charlie, it is such an honor for me to be here and to be a part of this. I feel like I am doing something special, something worthy, and it really amazes me that I'm even here. You know, how did God bring me to be here? It just amazes me every day. Every day I come here, I'm glad to be here, to face all the challenges that I know are sure to be here.
And when you talk about all these young people, God's creation, all special, they come from adversity, situations they couldn't help. What does it mean to you to see the love within them and then the ability here to help them in their future?
Charlie, it's truly emotional.
Yeah.
It's emotional. I mean, to know that things have happened to these children and that we are here to help them to work through that. You know, most people say, what's wrong with children? We here say, what happened to those children? What happened to them to make them turn out to be the way that they are? What are they dealing with that we don't know about? So it's just amazing to be a part of that.
And how can adults out there get more involved and get trained up in what you're doing with therapeutic foster care?
It's easier than you might think. All they have to do is contact us at bashor.org, and they can come in and we will tell them a little bit of the story in the same way that I was brought in.
Gary, some folks might be a little concerned about bringing in what, quote unquote, a troubled young person into foster care in their homes. What can you say to them about your experiences with that?
For one thing, Charlie, I will not sugarcoat the concern that they may have, because it is real. But the thing that they should be aware of is that we're going to train them. And after that training, we're going to stand beside them in whatever way we can. We have 24/7 hours that we will be available for those people should they need us. So they have nothing to fear. They are not in this alone.
Well, some of the people out there, the Lord puts it on their heart, and then they just have to trust, don't they?
Just have to trust the Lord. He will not give you more than you can carry.
Well, Gary, it's been inspirational talking to you, and I'm sure it's impacted a lot of people about what's really important in life and the potential with these young people. And again, Bashor.org is the place to go. 100 years here at Bashor Children's Home.
Hi, I'm Sean McCrindle, the CEO here at Bashor Children's Home, and I want to give you a great challenge. If you care about kids and you're passionate about their future, I want you to come to Bashor and come be a staff with us. We have a lot of fun. Kids teach us so much. We take care of our staff with great benefits, fun times, and good pay. Most of all, our kids will teach you how to live a great life.
For more information about Bashor Children's Home, visit bashor.org.
You can change your life now with Mineral Concentrate, a rich fulvic acid supplement loaded with electrolytes to help your body improve focus, reduce inflammation, and provide you with the energy necessary for every activity. The right choice is Mineral Concentrate. Start making healthy choices now. 1-800-965-2345 or order online at mhclife.com.
Thanks for watching. If your business would like to be featured on an upcoming episode, email us at openforbusiness@WHME-TV46.com. We'll see you next time. We're open for business.